My favourite quote is by the novelist Anais Nin, and she wrote, one's world contracts or expands according to one's courage. And I thought it's really kind of struck a chord this week as we begin to emerge from our very, very contracted world, our very small world that we've had over the last 8-9 weeks, is it now? And begin to explore the possibility perhaps of going back to work or going outside more. And I think for a lot of people, that's going to take a lot of courage to do that, because we've all become quite used to this little safe bubble that we've created. I know for me, that's going to take some courage. So I thought I'd do one that's kind of along that theme. So a little bit for our core, which is where in yogic terms it's said to be the root of our courage, deep down in our bellies. And a few challenges that require a little bit of courage, but remembering that courage is sometimes that quiet voice that says, I don't have to do that. I don't need to follow that. I can do exactly as I want, and I'm going to take the low option. I'm going to take a child pose. So I think courage is sometimes, kind of listening to yourself and not being pulled along by everybody else. So that's what we're going to do today. My little brave-hearted warriors, a warrior, of course, we'll have to match our theme of courage. But just for a moment, we're going to start lying down, so you can bring yourself down onto the mat. Oh, there we go. And you might want to have a good old stretch, especially if you've been out for a walk, Sue, or like me, a little bit of Joe Wicks, or just been sitting. It's quite nice just to find a bit of space. And then we'll all just rebend the knees. We're going to start with the feet on the floor this morning. So you can keep them hip width apart. You can walk them a little further apart and allow your knees to knock into touch. And let's just bring one hand very lightly to rest on that seat of courage down in the lower belly. And you might want to bring the other hand to rest on top, or sometimes feel that's a little bit heavy down there. So I'm going to bring one hand just to rest on my chest, around my heart. Closing the eyes. And on this beautiful Wednesday morning, let's just begin to put aside whatever's happened this week and begin to slow and deepen our breath now, especially if you have been rushing around this morning or you've just come in from some exercise, some gardening. Just allow the breath to come back to a really nice and steady rhythm there. So that quote, one's world contracts or expands according to one's courage. So by necessity, for everyone's safety, our worlds have become very much contracted, very small over the last few weeks. As we begin to emerge, blinking into this brave new reality in front of us. It's going to take a little bit of courage. So beginning to tap into that seat of our courage around our lower belly. As you exhale, just start to just draw the navel back towards the spine a little bit more energetically. Squeezing out that exhale, and then just allow the belly to relax. So you really allow the belly to come up into your hand as you inhale. Let's do a couple more like that. So just tapping into core as you exhale, but really just releasing that as you inhale. So again, you get that nice openness of the belly into your hand. Just taking note of where you might be feeling a little bit of tension today. So check that the shoulders are soft. The chin is drawn very gently down towards your chest. You can always have a little pillow or blanket around the back of the head there, just if you really do find it uncomfortable to keep your chin down and your neck long. Some of us have got a little bit more rounding in the upper back. Can sometimes force the chin up towards the ceiling, which is quite uncomfortable. So doing whatever you need to do to bring the spine into that lovely sense of alignment. And then releasing the arms alongside you. And if you've got your feet wider apart, let's bring them now so they're hip width. Knees pointing up towards the ceiling. So we're going to start just warming up through the shoulders today. We're going to take the arms all the way up and back behind the head. And like you're drawing a snow angel, we're going to take the arms out nice and wide as you bring the little finger edge of your hand down towards your waist. You're drawing them out and down towards you. So you take the arms all the way up and back, up arms alongside the ears, and then turning the palms up towards the ceiling, sweep the arms out nice and wide, that snow angel, little finger edge of the hand towards your waist. So working with the breath, inhale, back of the hands might touch the floor behind you, and exhale, circling the arms all the way back down, beginning to get a little bit of movement through the shoulders. We'll do that twice more, so don't worry if the backs of the hands are a long way off the floor. You don't have to be skimming the floor. Lovely, so exhaling, scooping the arms. Now we're going to add on. So inhaling, we take the arms all the way up and back. This time as you exhale, sweep the arms down and hug your right knee in towards your chest, that nice wide circle, bringing the knee in towards the chest, and then foot to floor, arms release, inhale. And exhaling, scooping the arms out and wide, and you hug the left knee into the chest. Lovely, so just working with the breath, foot to floor as the arms come back. Knee to chest, maybe nose to knee, if you want to add that little bit of core work, and then the head comes down as the arms circle back. So continuing with that, just want to let someone else in here. That's it. Lovely. Welcome, welcome, Sam. So inhaling the arms, come back, and exhaling, scooping one knee into the chest, maybe lifting nose to knee. So I've kind of lost track of whether we're on the left or the right. So the next time that you bring your left knee into your chest, make that your last one, and just bring the both arms all the way back behind you, both feet on the floor, elongating through the sides of the body. Lovely, well done, Sam. Just join us lying down when you're ready, my darling. Take one last deep inhale there. This time as you exhale, sweep the arms back and out to the side and hug both knees in towards the chest. Lovely, have a little massage out through the tops of the buttocks, the low back as you gently rock from side to side. Easing out any tension just from the lower back. Before keeping your knees and your ankles together this time, we'll bring the feet down to the floor, heels quite close towards the bottom, and allow your knees to open wide, coming into reclined goddess pose. Now if that's tight on the hips, you've got several options. You can slide the heels a little further away from you, or you can cross one shin in front of the other and change the cross of the legs halfway through, or if that's truly uncomfortable, keep the feet on the floor, knees to ceiling. Lovely. Take the arms into a cactus. So you can start just by bringing your elbows in line with the shoulders, fingertips point up towards the ceiling like a little robot. And then just hinging at the elbow, you bring the back of the hands down towards the floor. Doesn't matter if they don't touch, but just check that you're not bending at the wrist there. You're trying to keep that lovely long line, back of the hand, wrist towards your fingertips. Lovely. Soften the rib cage. Don't worry if the backs of the hands don't quite touch the floor. And then hinging from the elbows, we're going to bring the palms down towards the floor like a little scarecrow. Again, doesn't matter if the palms don't touch the floor. So as you inhale, we take the back of the hands to the floor, doing that little cactus arm, or like the tines of a fork. And as you exhale, you bring your palms down, fingertips point towards the end of the mat. Lovely. And maybe you can start to turn the head as you inhale, looking to one side. And as you exhale, turn the head the opposite way. So a little bit of coordination here. You can keep the head still if that's too much. Beautiful. Let's do one more. So that little cactus as you inhale, back of the hands might touch the floor again, making sure you're not flipping the fingers back. Nice straight wrists. And let's all end up in that cactus. Gaze towards the ceiling, hinging at the elbows, back of the hands, maybe on the floor. Now just taking the onus off the shoulders and the upper body, thinking about your lower body. Let's bring your right knee up towards the ceiling and then over towards the left knee. So the knees come together, coming into a little twist, keeping that cactus through the arms. And then right knee points to ceiling and then opening nice and wide, coming back to that goddess. Left knee leaps away, left knee points up to the ceiling. So the inner edges of the feet are closing together as you close the knees. Lovely. And then come all the way back through center. Beautiful. So inhale, knee to ceiling. Exhale as you close. Inhale, knee to ceiling. Exhale as you close. Once more, inhale. And exhale. Inhale. And exhale, lovely. Let's see if we can add the arms. This is going to be interesting. And the legs. So take a nice inhale. This time as you exhale, right knee to left knee and bring the palms down as you cactus. Lovely. Inhale as you open the knees wide, back of the hands to the floor. Exhale, left knee to right knee, palms down, that little scarecrow, lovely. Inhaling, open the knees out wide as the back of the hands touch the floor. So just work with the breath now. So every time you inhale, there's an openness across the chest and across the hips. And every time you exhale, we're rolling the palms towards the floor as we close the knees. You might even add that head move and turn the head away from the knees. And then bring the gaze back to center. Is that kind of too much to think about on a Wednesday? I'm getting the brains engaged as well. Let's do one more, closing your left knee to the right. And then coming all the way back through center. So take your time. Coming back with the soles of the feet together. Or you can just pause in that cactus, or maybe bring both hands above the head, resting one hand on top of the other. So you're in a nice wide open space there. Drawing the navel gently down towards the spine so you don't feel it overarching through the back. Let's take a couple of breaths there, loosening up through the hips. You might want to gently rock the knees from side to side. Just again, that little massage across the tops of the buttocks and into the back. There's a lot of coordination for a Wednesday, wasn't it? And then releasing the arms down, scooping the knees in towards the chest, hugging them in, and holding on around the backs of the knees. Let's start to have a little rock up and down along the length of the spine. Seeing if you can rock up and then rock back again. And see if you can add that little balance on the top of your sit bones. So pausing as you come up and then rolling back. Woo, I can just imagine the fun you're having now. So let's do one more roll back. And this time see if you can pause. I got everyone, beautiful. See if you can bring the toes just to hover. Maybe lifting chin, so we're in a boat pose. That takes a little bit of courage maybe to release, turning the palms up towards the ceiling. And see if you can lift up through the spine so we're not rolling back. So lift up through the chest. It's hard on the carpet, I know. Beautiful, then bring the feet down. Tuck the feet to one side and we'll come over onto all fours. Let's just check we've got everyone in now. Lovely, we've got everyone joining us. So hands under shoulders, knees under hips, making sure you've got space in front of you because we're going to be extending opposite arm and leg. So make sure you've got some space. Hands under shoulders, knees under hips, lovely. And a little bit of firming the hands into the mat. So we're strong and stable across the shoulders, and a little bit of firming up through the lower belly as you come to that nice neutral spine, that tabletop. And let's just warm up through the spine with a familiar cat-cow. So as you tilt your tailbone up, so the chest draws forward, the head lifts a little bit, chin stays parallel to the floor, and then rounding up, so push the hands and knees down, and round on in, chin to chest. Inhaling, you draw the chest forwards, and exhaling, that lovely sense of tucking the tailbone, that nice rounding through the back. Let's do a couple more like that. So this is, again, tuning into that seat of courage, our abdominals, as we just plug your navel up towards your spine, but then we get that lovely stretch through the front body as you inhale. Lovely. So let's find now that nice neutral spine, that tabletop, so gazing towards the top of the mat. Oh, got itchy nose. And we'll extend the right leg and the left arm. So if that's too much today, just take the leg out and just see if you can find that sense of balance. And you might just want to stay there, gazing forwards, just check that the head hasn't dropped. If you want a little bit more challenge, as you inhale, take the limbs out on a diagonal. And as you exhale, come back to center, reaching forwards and back. So inhale out on the diagonal. See if you can keep that navel pressed studying up towards your spine, that strong core. We'll do that once more. So inhale, slightly out the diagonal. Exhale, come back through center. Hands down, knee down. Let's take a cat-cow here just to stretch it all out. Inhale, lift the head, lift the heart. And as you exhale, round up through the back. And then we'll change sides. So this time it's the left leg and the right arm. So the thumb is up towards the ceiling, the palm in, upper arm alongside the ear. Stretch out nice and long. You can stay there, just that's in itself is a balance. Or challenging yourself as you inhale, coming out on the diagonal. So make the move small, and exhale, we reach forwards and back, come back to center. So just a couple more. So it might be a small move. Just check that you haven't dropped the gaze. You're gazing forwards, no heading back. Heading into that brave new world, whatever it looks like. So looking forwards towards the top of your mat. Just once more. Navel hug up towards spine. Beautiful. And then bring the hands down and the knees under the hips. So just pick up one hand, give the wrist a little twirl there, a little shake after that first weight bearing, and then change sides. Little twirl and a little shake. So depending on how you're feeling today, we've got lots of options. So hands under shoulders, knees under hips. Trying to keep the body nice and stable. As you inhale, let's just extend the right leg back, ball of the foot to the floor. Navel to spine as you open up through the back of the knee. And as you exhale, we'll bring both knees under the hips. Changing sides. Left leg extends, ball of foot to floor. And then exhale, both knees down. So just working with your breath now, extending alternate legs and just being mindful that the body stays relatively still. We're not swinging from side to side. So keep pressing down into the hands, keep looking forwards towards the top of the mat, towards that brave new world, pushing the heel away from you. Now knowing that you can stay here today, extending alternate legs, or let's all end up with both knees down. If you want a little bit more, you can come with me. Remember, you can stay with that. So inhaling, right leg extends. Exhaling, left leg extends to plank. Inhale up into our first downward dog. And as you exhale, coming back down, knees under hips, back to all fours. Inhaling, right leg extends. Exhale the left, coming into that plank, firming up through the belly. Inhale as you push the hips up and back, downward dog. Exhale, lowering the knees. Lovely, let's do that a couple more times. So knowing if that's not for you today, you can always just come back to that extending alternate legs. Jackknifing the hips nice and high. And then lowering the knees, coming back down onto all fours. Let's do that just once more. So inhale. Exhale the left leg. Inhale, push all the way up and back. And as you exhale, let's come back down onto all fours. Sit back on your heels for a minute or sit up on your into standing kneeling and just take a little twirl up through the wrists there. Lovely. Beautiful. And then just bringing the hands back underneath the shoulders and then just walk them forwards ever so slightly, maybe just one handspan. Tuck the toes under. Let's sit back towards your heels. So getting a nice stretch out through the fascia of your feet. And from there, let's grow that downward dog. So lift the hips. If you can start to have a little walk out, you can shake out your hair. If you've not been at it on the beard trimmers, let it all hang out there. Just finding some space in that downward dog. If downward dog isn't for you today, feel free to come back down onto all fours. Have a little shake of the hips side to side or take a couple of cat-cows. Cats or dogs, animal friendly here today. And then pausing in that downward dog and think about your arms are following the side body so they're in line with the sides of your body. So that might be bending the knees a little bit so you can really elongate up through the hips. And then think about lowering the heels down or keep a soft bend in the knees. So that lovely sense of length, that growing from your hands all the way up to your shoulders and then from your shoulders right towards your hips there. Beautiful. Then bringing your left foot to the middle of the mat. Remember, you can do this from all fours. Let's take the right leg up and back behind you. And take a couple of twirls through the ankle there. A few circles there, bringing some movement. A few circles each way. Lovely. And then stretch out through the ball of the foot. Rise up, right up high onto that left foot as you inhale. And as you exhale, let's step or help that right foot to the top of the mat. And drop the back knee. Ooh, there we go. Beautiful. Left hand stays where it is. It's coming to a twist. Taking the right arm up towards the ceiling. So knowing that today you can keep that back knee down throughout, that's not a problem. Or bringing right hand to right knee. Kick out through that back heel and we lift the knee. Lovely. So nice sense of length and space through that back leg. Right arm lifts. So we're going to add on, take an inhale. And as you exhale, we're going to feed that arm under the right thigh and try and round the back ever so slightly. Then as you inhale, we lower the hips, come back to that twist. So you can see that my hips are lowering. And as you exhale, we try and just again lift and round the back. Lovely. A little bit of fire in the belly this morning. Woo! Inhale. And exhale. Lovely. So this time let's inhale and take that arm all the way up, pausing in that twist. Option to lower that back knee. Beautiful. And then bring both hands down, frame the foot. Lots of options here. Lower that back knee, keep the toes tucked. Let's take it into a hamstring stretch. So maybe just work with the breath a couple of times, shifting the weight back and forth, exploring how the hamstrings feel on that right leg. Woo! And then we'll all pause with the hips back, maybe the foot to floor and a bend in the knee. You might want to lift the toes. And those of you that are a bit more open in your hamstrings, you can flatten the back foot and slide the hips back until you're sitting on that left heel. It's called a pistol stretch. But if that's not for you, then we've got the hips lifted in our usual hamstring stretch. Lovely. So wherever you are, take a nice inhale and lift the chest. And as you exhale, see if you can just extend the chest forwards over that right leg. So we might be here with the hips lifted. We might be sitting back on that left heel and just allowing the body to melt forwards. Lovely. So I can feel a deep stretch in my hamstrings. So we're all going to be very different in hamstrings and how our knees feel being compressed like that. Beautiful. Then wherever we are, if you're with me, we're going to lift the hips, rebend that front knee, hands frame the foot, and tuck the back foot under. So we're going to start just limbering up into that back leg. So as you inhale, we're going to bring that left heel towards the bottom, might not come very far. And as you exhale, we bring the foot down. Now if it's easier to work with your hands on your thigh, then feel free to do that. So just have a little explore of that quadricep, that thigh muscle. See how that feels. And those of us who again are feeling a little bit more confident, who want that challenge, remember courage sometimes is listening to your body and not being swayed by what everyone else is doing. If you wish, you can keep the heel coming in towards the bottom. You roll onto the front of that left kneecap, reach round with the right hand and see if you can take the top of the foot and then turn and look over that right shoulder. So if that's not for you, you might be continuing to lift and lower the back heel. You might be in that twist. You might just want to reach the arm back and lower that back leg. So have a little play with what works for you today. Again, that courage to listen and be true to yourself. Lovely. If like me, you're holding that foot, slowly, slowly release that foot to the floor. Both hands frame the front foot. Pick up that back knee and then let's step back into a downward facing dog. Lovely. And from your downward dog, roll the body forwards to plank. You might need to adjust your hands or your feet so your shoulders above your wrists. And again, knees might come down first as you lower yourself all the way down to the mat. Lovely. Forehead to floor. I'm going to lift my chest just so you can hear me. Forehead to floor and release the arms back alongside you. And just lift the arms from the floor and again, take a little circle out through the wrist there. Be a few movements each way. Beautiful. And then relax the arms alongside you with the palms facing up towards the ceiling, forehead on the floor. We're going to roll the shoulders back, turning the palms to face one another, lengthening fingertips towards toes, and pressing into the tops of the feet. As you inhale, just lift the chest looking down, so we're into a little locust. And as you exhale, back of the hands to the floor, forehead to floor. So working with the breath, inhale, turning the palms in, lengthening the arms back, keep the tops of the feet grounded, and exhale, lower down. So you can continue again just to lift and lower the chest as you lengthen the arms back. You can add the legs. So as you inhale, the chest and both legs lift, lifting from the top of the hip so the legs stay straight, and then exhaling, releasing. Back of the hands to floor so the shoulders rotate forwards. And then opening up through the shoulders. Beautiful. Let's just do that a couple more times, remembering there's always the opportunity to rest. And if you're with me, and again, you feel confident and courageous enough, you might pause there in that locust, reaching the arms back, lifting up through the feet. Oh, it's hard to talk and hold locust. Oh, and then slowly, slowly release. Stack one hand on top of the other. You can turn your cheek or have your forehead resting, and then point the toes up towards the ceiling and have a little windscreen wiper out through the legs. Just releasing through the hips, releasing in the back. I'm going to turn around the opposite way, so I'm on the right leg for you. Beautiful. And then just lowering the legs, hands alongside the shoulders, push up onto all fours. And then tucking the toes, lifting the hips, finding that downward facing dog again. You can have a little walk through the dog. You can swing the hips, again, let the hair hang. We'll all be having hair touching the floor, won't we? And then finding that downward dog, again, that sense of your arms, just following that line of the side body. So I hope mine is, I haven't got any mirrors to look at. So again, if that means bending the knees, you can really send your pubic bone up towards the ceiling, opening up some space in the low back. And then right foot to the middle of the mat. Let's take the left leg up and back this time. A little twirl through the foot. Might do a few circles each way, just loosening off through the ankle. And then rise up onto the ball of that right foot. And then step or help that left foot forwards. And we'll drop the back knee. Beautiful. So I'm on the right leg as you. So right hand stays where it is. Left arm opens up into that twist. Beautiful. So we're going to come into that thread needle. So knowing that you can keep the back knee down, or left hand to left knee, tuck the back foot. And if you are lifting that back knee, make sure that the hips don't jackknife up. So you want nice low hips, you might need to wiggle that foot back. And then left arm back into that twist as you inhale. Exhale, that little rounding of the back. So you push off that front foot as you thread the arm underneath. And then inhaling, we slightly lower the hips as you turn the chest, lovely. Exhaling, so again, a little bit of courage required to find that edge. Remembering you can bring that back knee down at any time. Let's do that once more. So that little pushing of the floor away, thread the arm through. And let's all just pause in that twist, reaching the arm up, stretching that back heel away from you, that lovely rotation through the chest. Beautiful, and then lower the back knee as you lower the hands, keeping the back foot tucked. We'll start again, a little explore of the hamstrings, rocking the hips back and forth, keeping the chest nice and open. So again, if it's easier to keep your hands just above your knee on your thigh there, if the hamstring's particularly tight for you today, you might be lifting the toes up towards the face. And then we'll all meet in that hamstring stretch, the one that suits us today, maybe sole of the foot to floor, knee bent, maybe lifting the toes with the hips lifted, or flattening that back foot, so you sink the hips back, so you're sitting on that right heel. So that's not going to be for everyone's knee or hamstring, so keep yourself safe there. Lovely. So wherever we are, take an inhale, and then as we exhale, we'll just allow the body to melt forwards. So again, we might be here, with the hips lifted. You might even have the hands just resting on your thigh and coming into more of a flat back shape. So again, whatever works for you. Lovely. And then we'll all meet by rebending that left knee. So we plant the foot, plant the hands, or again, just bringing your hands up above the knee, flexing that back foot. And we'll start again, inhaling, bringing the heel in towards the bottom. And as you exhale, we lower the foot. So, sometimes it's easier, especially if you've got tight quads, to work with your hands on your thigh. It might only be a little lift. I can feel that this side for me is definitely tighter. Thank you, Joe Wicks. So we might want to stay here. So let me show you lots of options here. So if you know that knees don't like that closed position, you can bring the foot down and just reach back with that left arm. So you're turning towards the back of the room. Those of you that want a little more, you might be reaching the foot and turning and opening through the chest there. So kind of looking over that left shoulder. Oh, we've got someone else who wants to come in. Goodness me. Right. And then very slowly, where were we? Let's bring that right foot back down to the mat. Lovely. Tuck the toes, lift that back knee. And occasionally if you join us, let's step back into that downward facing dog. Lovely. And we'll walk out through the feet. Lovely. And then just drop down onto all fours and have a little look towards the screen. So I want to show you our little challenge pose so that we can go with the flow and you can decide what you want to do. And this is one of those poses that always kind of looks more showy offy than it actually is. So you've got quite a few points of contact. So we should be okay. It's called a fallen angel. So we'll be up in our downward dog. And I'll start with my left leg just so that you can see. So we'll be up in that downward dog. Left leg's going to extend. We're going to bring the knee to left elbow, knee to center of chest, and then knee to right elbow. Now you might just want to come back into your downward dog, or that left leg feeds all the way through. So on the outside edge of that left foot, I roll to the inside edge of my right foot. So you've got lots of points of contact, or you can reach the right arm, up towards the ceiling. Hand comes down, we'll step that leg all the way back and into a downward dog. Oh, I'm getting a rosy glow. So that's your fallen angel, but it's not literal, okay? It's not literal, no fallen angels, please. So lots of options. You can always come back into a downward dog. You can sit down and have a little watch if you want. So let's all bring ourselves back up into that downward facing dog. Beautiful. So we're going to start with the right leg. So let me turn around so I can see you there. Beautiful. So left foot once more comes to the middle of the mat. Let's take the right leg all the way up and back, really stretching the rib cage back towards that left thigh. Take an inhale. Exhale, let's bring that right knee to right elbow. So shift the weight forwards. And then inhale, we'll extend the leg back. Beautiful. Exhale, knee to chest. So again, shifting the weight forwards. Lovely. Inhale, take the leg back. Are you ready? Exhale, knee to left elbow. Now you can either step back into downward dog, child pose, or stretch that right leg all the way through onto the outside edge of the foot. You can stay there, or roll to the inside edge of that left foot, and the left arm lifts up towards the ceiling. Woo! Look at you guys, my little fallen angels, superb. Beautiful. Slowly, let's quit warrior ahead, hands down. See if you can unthread and take that right leg all the way up and back into a three-legged dog. And then step or help it forwards, top of the mat. Beautiful. Adjust that back foot for a warrior one. So you're going to step it in and slightly out, turning the toes out to the side. And then walk your way up. We've been on the floor a long time, so walk your way up. It's warm. Don't get a head rush. So we're in a warrior one, hips facing the top of the mat. You're going to reach the arms all the way up towards the ceiling. Really push out through that back foot. There's no going back. Beautiful. And then cactus the arms, so the elbows draw down level with the shoulders, just as we did on the floor. We're going to lean into the future. So as you inhale, we sweep the arms up, lengthening the waist. And as you exhale, we lean into the future with courage as you cactus the arms. Lovely. Back heel stays grounded. Inhaling up. Exhale, leaning in. I don't remember who coined that phrase. Might have been Brené Brown. Lean in. Once more, inhale. And this time as you exhale, swim the hands all the way back behind you and interlace them. Roll the shoulders, lift the chest, root down through that back heel. You might want to stay there or join me in a humble warrior. So we stretch the belly over that front thigh, let the head drop, maybe lifting the arms away from the low back. push into that front foot. So we're not collapsing on the thigh. Beautiful. And then releasing the hands onto the low back. Bring the fingertips to the floor and we'll turn to the long edge of the mat. So you might want to adjust your feet so your big toes are level, nice and wide with the legs. And if your low back feels a little tight, you can just turn your heels out slightly, so slightly pigeon toe your feet. And we're going to walk the hands slightly forwards, they're underneath the face, nice long back, and make a butterfly shape with the wrists. So your wrists come together and your fingers are pointing in opposite directions. If that's too much, then obviously come up on fists, or you can always have a book or a block underneath you. Beautiful. So come into a nice twist. So looking towards that right hand, as you inhale, you take the right arm all the way up towards the ceiling. And as you exhale, look down as you bring your wrists towards one another. Changing sides. Inhale, sweeping the arm up, turning the chest. Exhale down. Beautiful. Do that a couple more times. Remember, if that's too much, you can always just come into that more conventional twist with your fingertips on the floor if that's a little bit too much. So this time, let's pause when that left hand comes down. Back to that right hand. Inhale, sweep the arm up. And this time, see if you can bring the back of the hand onto your low back, turning the gaze up or down, whatever works for you. And some of you more open might be able to find the top of that left hip, reaching the arm all the way around to snuggle into that left waist there. Lovely. Keep the weight even through the feet, not dropping back into the balls or the heels of the foot. And slowly release. Left arm, so we sweep the left arm up, looking towards the fingertips. Back of the hand wraps round to the low back, or you might snuggle it into the right waist. So there's a big roll through the shoulder. Beautiful. And then slowly, slowly release. So we're going to take a turn towards the top of the mat. So you're turning over that right foot, all 10 toes face forwards. And then we'll step back into that downward facing dog. Beautiful. So we're going to go straight in with the other side. If you need to take a little child pose, take a rest, feel free. Or, so the right foot this time is middle of the mat. Left leg lifts, ready for that little fallen angel. Take an inhale. Exhale, left knee to left elbow, shift the weight forwards. Inhaling, extend the leg, beautiful. Exhale, knee to chest. Are you ready for that courage, that final little boost of courage? Inhale, knee to right elbow. You can come back to downward dog or thread the leg through, coming onto the outside edge of the left foot. You can stay there, both hands firmly planted, or spin onto the inside edge of the back foot. Right arm lifts. Woohoo! No literal fallen angels, please. And then slowly, hands come down. Let's take that leg all the way back up into that three-legged dog, or just take downward dog, and then step or help left foot forwards, and adjust that back foot for our warrior one. So step it in slightly, and turn the toes out about 45 degrees. And then walk on up. Ooh, let blood pressure adjust. Making sure hips and chest are roughly square to the top of the mat. We'll sweep the arms up so we lengthen all four sides of the waist, pressing down through that back heel. And then we'll cactus the arms, and again we'll lean courageously into the future. So inhale, reach up, root down through that back heel. Exhale, so we hinge forwards. Lovely, looking forwards with courage. Whatever lies ahead, inhaling up. Exhale that little cactus as you lean forwards. We'll all meet, sweeping the arms up. This time as we exhale, we'll hinge the arms all the way back, hinging from the elbows, interlace the hands, knuckles draw down, heart lifts. You can stay there, just enjoying that lovely sense of space. Or we hinge forward, so we almost lengthen the belly over that front thigh, not collapsing. We can look back towards that back heel. But again, we're not collapsing there, so there's quite a bit of work in that front foot and thigh to keep you grounded. Beautiful. And And then slowly, slowly release the hands. Bring the fingertips to the floor, and this time we'll step the feet together. Lovely, coming to the top of the mat. And then keeping the chin tucked down, slowly, slowly roll your way up to stand. Take your time. I'll come and face you. Beautiful. Let's take a moment there just to allow everything to settle. Some of us get that head rush when we come up to stand. Beautiful. So you might want your feet a little bit apart, you might want them together, whatever works for you today. Nice. So we'll come up onto the ball of that right foot, just onto the ball of the foot. And we'll start just to swing the knee, almost like just opening and closing a gate there. So a nice kind of lubricating of that hip joint. And then keeping the knee open, we're going to see if we can slide that right foot up into your version of tree. So remember, it simply might be staying where it is, ball of the foot to the floor, or bringing the sole of the foot a little higher to wherever feels comfortable. So again, a little bit of fire in the belly, draw up through the center as you bring your hands to the heart, coming into that tree pose. Nothing fancy, we're just going to hold in stillness. See if you can lengthen up through, again, all four sides of the way. So the stomach engaged, the back long, as well as elongating through the sides of the body. Beautiful. Now you can stay here in that tree pose, or extend the left arm out, level with the shoulder, and taking hold under that right knee, we'll take that right knee up and out to the side. So reaching out long with that left arm. Remember, you might just want to bring the foot down, it's not a problem. And again, if you've got a little bit of fire in the belly, a little courage, slowly turn the head to look over that left arm towards the thumb. Slowly bring the gaze to center. And bring the foot down and release the arms. Have a little pad out through the feet. Ooh, let's try that on the other side. So coming up onto the ball of the left foot, and just a little swing. So let it all be kind of loosey-goosey there. One side might feel a little bit more loose than the other. And again, when the knee is open, we'll find our version of tree this side. So ball of the foot might stay on the floor, using that heel as a bit of a kickstand. Or grow your tree, bringing that foot up a little higher so it's nestled in towards your groin. If it is above your knee, make sure you're not pushing the hips out to the right. So a little bit of resistance between your thigh and your foot, hands to heart. Just see if you can find that stillness, find that center. Amidst all of this noise, this chatter, just find a moment of quiet. Beautiful balance, everyone. You might just want to stay here and enjoy this beautiful pose. It's one of my favorite poses, I think, too. Or right arm extends out level with the shoulder. We hook underneath or in front, whatever works for you, that left knee. So you're lifting the knee up and out so the hips stay roughly square to the front. And again, that little bit of courage to begin slowly, slowly. Take it slowly to turn the head so you're looking over that back arm, that right arm. Beautiful. Slowly, slowly come back to center. Lower the foot, release the arms. Lovely. So feet either together or a little bit apart, whatever again works for you. Just sweep the arms all the way up. I'm going to loose my arms in the screen and then lift the heels nice and high, coming up as high as you can. And then let the heels drop and the arms swing. So as we inhale, again, if you've got your feet together, you're squeezing everything towards that midline and then let the heels drop. I'm going to add on, so inhale, sweep the arms up. And as you exhale, we'll start to bend the knees as the heels drop and we release the arms back. So you're about to take off. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, soften the knees. The chest dips down, the arms swing back, swinging chair. Inhale. So the chest might stay quite high, or you can begin to lower the chest and release the head, crown of the head towards the floor. Arms sweep up and back behind you. Yeah. Let's do that once more. So this next time, as you inhale, let's rise up onto the balls of the feet. And exhale, let's hold that swinging chair. Maybe reaching the arms back behind you, interlacing the hands. And as you begin to straighten off through the legs, you might be able to lift the arms up and back, crown of the head dropping down, or you can just rest the hands on the low back, or come into a forward fold. Beautiful. And then we'll all meet releasing the hands down, fingertips frame the feet, and we'll step back into plank. Step back into plank pose, lovely. And then from plank, lowering yourself all the way down onto your belly, knees might come down first. Let's stack one hand on top of the other. And just again, pause for a moment in crocodile. Legs just loosely extended back behind you, maybe a little rock from side to side. Lovely. So this is a bit of a funny one. It's a great one to work into your back, but there's a little bit of coordination required. So keeping your right arm bent, back of the hand is facing up towards you. Release your left arm alongside you with the palm facing up. So left arm alongside the body. You're going to turn your head, so you're resting your left cheek on the back of your right hand. So you're looking towards that right elbow there. So this is a great one to work the deep muscles of your back. So keeping your lower body relaxed, then lift the chest. So the back of the hand stays glued to the side of the head. So lift the chest, lift the head, keep looking towards that right elbow. And now just extend and lift the left leg. So right elbow, left leg, lovely. And then slowly release. So as you inhale, we lift the chest, extend through that left leg, left arm stays on the floor, and exhale, lower. Let's do that a couple more times. So it's a great one to work laterally through the back. Elbow lifts, left leg lifts. Lovely. So last one. So we lift the chest, back of the hand stays glued on the side of the face. And then slowly, slowly release. Stack one hand on top of the other, forehead on the hands. Maybe again, that little shift of the hips from side to side there. So other side, it's like the coordination as well, isn't it? So left hand stays where it is. Turn your head so your right cheek is on the back of your left hand, looking towards left elbow. Right arm alongside you with the palm up towards the ceiling. So we'll start just by lifting the chest. So the back of the hand stays glued onto the side of the face. You're lifting the head, lift the chest. And now the right leg. Think about extending from the hip, don't think about height. And then slowly everything comes back down, all of that together. So inhaling, lifting that left arm, right leg, back of that right hand stays relaxed. And you might notice, I can notice subtly that this side feels a lot easier for me to lift than that other side. We all tend to work very one-sided. So let's do a couple more. You might notice, again, those subtle differences, a little bit of coordination, keeping that extended leg lifted, nice and straight. Beautiful. Slowly, slowly release. And then after that asymmetry, let's bring the hands alongside the shoulders. You can take them wide if the shoulders feel tight today. Let the head hang, push into the hands, and roll up into that really easy cobra, lifting the chin just at the top. So your chin is parallel to the floor. Take an inhale, and exhale, stretch the belly down, forehead to floor. So twice more, inhaling, head hangs, lengthening the toes back and away from you. Beautiful. Chin lifts just at the top of the inhale. Exhale, stretch the belly all the way forwards and down. Lovely. Last time. Really nice to come back to symmetry after that asymmetry. Beautiful. If you had the hands wide like I did, hands alongside the shoulders, let's push up onto all fours and take a child pose. Again, a nice symmetrical pose. And for some reason, after I've done a little bit of back work, for me, I like to thread my arms back alongside my body. It just helps my shoulders release. I can really let my back go. But you might have the arms in front. You might want to rest your head on your hands. Knees might need to be a little bit wider apart to accommodate any tightness in hips. So let that child pose again be whatever you need it to be. Let's allow the body a moment to release there. Lovely. And slowly, slowly, when you're ready, roll your way up just so you're sitting on your heels. You can pop your bottom to one side and stretch the legs out in front of you. So bringing yourself to the middle of your mat if you've moved, so we can come back just as we started. Lying down, heels close to the bottom, arms down alongside you. So coming back to what we did at the beginning. So inhale, the arms float all the way up and back. Exhaling, palms turn up as you snow angel the little fingers down towards your waist. Inhaling up. Exhaling that wide arc as you bring the arms back down alongside you. Inhale up. This time as you exhale, bring your right knee in towards your chest, nose to knee, pause. So we all meet hugging that right knee in towards the chest. Lovely, last little fire in the belly as you lower the head down, keep the knees squeezed in towards the chest. A little massage out through the belly. And holding behind the leg, extend that leg up towards the ceiling. Nice hamstring stretch. So you might have the hands quite low to the bottom, you might be sliding them up a little higher depending on how the hamstrings feel. And softly point the foot, so get a nice stretch across the top of the ankle. And then open up through the back of the knee as you stretch the heel away from you. We'll do that once more, pointing the foot very softly. And then flexing the foot. And then finding that midway point between the two so you can feel that the leg isn't shaking, you get that comfortable hamstring stretch for you. And those of us who feel that the hamstrings are sufficiently warm, that's a good thing about this warm weather, muscles tend to like it, gives a bit more space. You might walk the hands up, nose to knee. You might want to extend that left leg out long till the heel just hovers off the floor. Beautiful. And then lowering that left heel down. So we'll all meet with the left leg extended. Lowering the head and bringing that right knee back in towards your chest. Lovely. Sole of that right foot, just bring down to the floor on the inside of that left thigh. And allow the knee to open, so coming into that reclined tree now. Sliding the foot a little lower down if that's uncomfortable with the heel towards the groin. Just check that you feel balanced across the front of the hips and the lower back. And then extend the left arm back behind you and stretch out long through that left leg, kicking the heel away from you. You might bring the right hand just to your inner knee or thigh. Gently ease that right knee down without overbalancing, without rolling onto that right buttock. So left arm back, breathing into that left waist, top of that left hip. That's it, lovely. And then bringing that right knee to your chest, both hands give that knee a little squeeze. And then left hand on the knee, right arm shoulder height, palm up. Let's take that right leg across the body, coming into that little twist. So you might find that your knee and your shoulder are away from the floor. Maybe the head is looking over that back arm. Really doesn't matter. Just finding, again, that nice rotation through the spine. Lovely. Coming all the way back through center. And bringing the foot to the floor. And then sliding that left heel in. Both feet to floor, knees to ceiling. Arms alongside the body as you inhale, float the arms back. Exhale, that lovely snow angel shape. Little fingers sweep down to the waist. Lovely. Inhale, up and back. This time as you exhale, let's hug left knee in. And again, if you wish, you can bring your nose up towards your knee. Slide the shoulders away from the ears. Little pause there, firming up through the belly and then lowering the head and bringing that knee down towards the chest. A little sense of space and stretch through the lower back. And then holding on around the back of the leg, extend that leg up towards the ceiling. Lower the hands are towards your bottom, the more support you'll give to a tight hamstring. So think about that as you softly point the foot. And then open up through the back of the knee, pull the toes down to the face. Once more. Front of the ankle gets a bit of a stretch. And then push the heel away from you. And again, just relax the foot a little bit. Find that point where you can feel the stretching your hamstring, but you're not overdoing it. You might want to keep the hands quite low. You might want to have a little walk up the leg, lifting your head. And that final little bit of extending the right leg out nice and long, the heel just hovers off the floor. Lovely. And then we'll lower the leg, lower the head, bring that right knee in towards the, left knee in towards the chest. And then left foot comes to the floor, just again towards the inner thigh. So as you open that left knee to the side, you can always slide that sole of the foot a lot lower down the leg if the hips feel tight. Lovely. So find again that balance so you're not rolling a little bit more towards the left. So just push into that right buttock as you reach the right arm back behind you, upper arm alongside the ear. Stretch the heel away from you. Open up through that right side of the body. Lovely. Couple of breaths. We'll bring the left knee in towards the chest. Both hands on the knee. And then keeping the right hand where it is, left arm alongside you, shoulder height. And taking that left knee for a little journey over the right towards the floor. Maybe rolling the head to look over that left arm. So your knee and again your shoulder blade might have lifted. It really doesn't matter. And then come all the way back through center. Keep the left knee in towards the chest and bring the right knee to join it. So again, coming back to that sense of symmetry, keep the knees and the feet together as you bring the feet to the floor. Knees drop wide apart, soles of the feet stay together. Again, you can always cross one shin in front of the other. And allow the arms to be in a place of comfort. It might be alongside the body, might be shoulder height, or again, both arms extended above the head with one hand resting on the other. Let's take a couple of breaths there. Coming back to that symmetry of the body, coming back to that sense of spaciousness. This is a very vulnerable posture. We've got all of our soft underbelly exposed. So it takes a bit of courage to be in this posture. You watch animals, they don't like having themselves kind of exposed like this. They want to protect that soft underbelly. So let's just stay there for a breath or two. And then from that posture, find your way into a place that works for you for Shavasana. That might mean staying exactly as you are, maybe just changing the cross of the shins if you had one shin in front of the other, or simply extending the legs and bringing the arms down alongside you. I'm just going to sit up there. So take a moment to get yourself comfortable. Good thing is, again, in this warm weather, it's quite comfortable just to lie still for a moment. You haven't got to worry about gathering blankets or getting chilly. And I'll come back to that quote I read at the beginning. One of my favourite quotes. Your world contracts or expands in accordance with your courage. So throughout the practice, face a few challenges, maybe step back from those challenges. Maybe have the courage to listen to your own body, follow your heart, rather than follow the field. Maybe taking some of that inner strength, inner courage into the coming weeks and days. Facing that future, face on with courage. Whatever it might bring us. So as you begin to deepen and lengthen your breath, you might just want to linger in Shavasana and then leave the class as and when you wish. You might want to think about just now bringing a bit of movement back to your fingers, your toes. Maybe reaching the arms out long, legs out long, finding that full body openness and expansion again, coming back to that lovely sense of the courage to open ourselves up. And then we'll bring the knees in towards the chest. And wherever there's space, rolling to the right or the left, really doesn't matter. And then joining me in whatever comfortable position works for you today. Don't rush. Always stay lying down and then just leave when you wish. Wherever you are, let's just bring the hands together at the heart. So you're going to lift up nice and tall again through all four sides of the waist, soften the shoulders. Bowing our heads to each other. Namaste. Thank you for sharing your Wednesday morning with me. Thank you, thank you. I'll mute everybody for a moment.
Thanks, Helen.